Bidi, Part 2, Vacation, July 20th to 25th, 2022. July 21st, 2022. JLA. Well, we're going to have, for a 1 hour, Bidi channeling, because afterwards we have ice cream, pointing to Eliza. Bidi. Well, Bidi is with you again to resume our talks. So, right away, I'm listening to you. They are all very quiet. Eliza. Question from a brother. If nothing really happens, he can recreate. Bidi. What? Eliza. If nothing happens in truth, can he recreate games? Bidi. There is no time, there is no space, it's all part of the dream. Why would you want to imagine or think about a recreation? Step out of space-time and you will see for yourselves that all creation is a myth, a dream, a pleasant or unpleasant dream, but it is not real. What never began will never end. The end of the dream is nothing but the understanding and experience that all of creation happened in an initial moment. Why would you want to imagine or think of recreating anything? You have already created everything. All the possibilities, all the paths of the dream have already been traversed with the respective illusion of their times and their spaces. Eliza. Yes, but in some cultures there is what is called the inhale and the sigh of Brahma, that is to say that each time he breathes, there is a Bidi. Stop talking about your designs and what you've read, tell me about what you're going through. Stop talking about concepts, religions, Brahma, Buddha, whoever you want. That's what you read. I am not asking you to ask questions about what you have read, but about what you are experiencing, is that clear? Without that, we will never get out of it. But then why Christ this, but then why samsara that? Do you realize that you never talk about your experience? You only speak of what you have read. There is still a big problem there. Do you believe what you read is true? What does it matter that you have read it without having lived it? It doesn't. You are still in concepts, in ideas, but you, what are you living? Where are you, not in your head but in your heart? Is that clear? Eliza. Yeah, there's another question that's also going to make you scream, are organic portals going to wake up too? Bidi. What is this story again? Laughs. Eliza. If the organic portals will wake up? Bidi. But what would they wake up to? Eliza. I don't know. Bidi. They are the dream within the dream of the dream of the dream of the dream. Eliza. Does a machine wake up? Bidi. What? Eliza. It's like asking the question, does a machine wake up? Bidi. Exactly the same. Eliza. There you go. Bidi. Are you hoping for a computer to turn into the Venus de Milo? Explain to me what is the use of knowing that. Speak to me of what you have experienced, of what you are experiencing, of the questions which concern the heart, which concern the real, which concern time, space. Forget and permanently erase concepts from your lives. They don't bring you anything, they take you away from reality. Eliza. What we are experiencing at the moment is the fear of a third world war. Bidi. But what fear? She is already there. Humanity has been at war since birth, in this cycle as in other cycles. I repeat. You cannot feel fear and experience the real. You are none of your fears. Stop identifying with the fear you feel. It is that simple. Don't be subject to anything. It is unimaginable that in so-called spiritual circles, there is so much fear. You are truly people of little faith. You hide behind visions, behind energies, behind vibrations, behind auras, but basically why is this fear still there? Think a little. Eliza. I'm not afraid, I was speaking in general. Bidi. I also speak in general. Sister. And the animals? Animals are in the truth a priori. Bidi. The what? Sister. Animals. Eliza. Animals. Bidi. Animals are only in the moment. They obey a program and they cannot deviate from it. They are of course only in the present moment. Eliza. They are absolute. Bidi. They cannot be said to be absolute, they have no consciousness or unconsciousness of the absolute. They have a consciousness of an individuality, a consciousness in the process of individualization for certain animals, or a collective consciousness. Eliza. There is a lady asking why are you angry? Bidi. Once again. Laughs. Eliza. It's just, this is someone who was not there at the first session. They don't know you in this channel. Bidi. What? Eliza. They don't know you in that channel, so they must be thinking, who is that man screaming? Bidi. They just have to listen to what has been said for 10 years. I can't help it, I can't start from scratch every time. Eliza. A brother or a sister? No more questions. The silence takes more and more space with joy and peace, the heart explodes and the fears disappear. No longer want to let it happen no matter what. Thank you, Bidi. Bidi. Thanks for the testimony. That's just the way your conduct should be today. Accept that you can't help it, about anything, and you will be free from the theater stage. It's as simple as that. There is no simpler, there is no more obvious. You just aren't looking in the right place. You are submissive and subject to the dream. See that this is all just a dream and you will no longer be affected by the dream. There will be no more fear, there will be only peace, bliss, whatever the state of your world, whatever the state of your body. Eliza. I am currently living in absolute calm. Bidi. In what? Eliza. Absolute calm, and when I have pain, I go through it without fear. I'm not afraid of anything now. A testimony. Bidi. Thank you for your testimonials. Finally. Resilience is linked to the acceptance of what is. Accept that you can't change anything and everything will change. Silence. Eliza. Thank you, Bidi. Thank you, Eliza. Bidi. We'll turn the volume down because they'll still think I'm mad. I can also speak normally, you know. Other testimonies please, especially for the incredulous and the fearful. Eliza. Testimony. I had to go through tremendous pain to understand the truth of who I am. Bidi. Thanks. Suffering from the person's point of view is detestable, it's horrible, but it is often the suffering, the loss, or whatever it is that leads you to freedom, whether you like it or not, that's how it is. You must absolutely lose, via the circumstances of your life, all your certainties. Eliza. Today my fears are disappearing more and more, and the object of my fears seems trivial to me. Bidi. Fear can only move away from you as you grow in confidence, when you say, I am not this body, I am nothing of this world. while being here and now, in your life, will show you the estrangement of fear, suffering, and pain from who you are. Before seeking to resolve a suffering, bless it. There is no greater sign of fate, there is no greater sign of life wherever this suffering is located. I pity the brothers and the sisters who would have a life without any hardship, where everything would be linear and joyful. They maintain the dream, they nurture it carefully, but they will never see that it is a dream. Eliza. There is less and less desire to make plans and to have illusions in dreams. Bidi. He who is free never has a project. He lets things happen, it doesn't stop him from planning vacation dates, but once it's planned once, there's no need to go back or think about it, it happens automatically if this should be done. So is the intelligence of the real, so is the intelligence of light. Living the real is a great relaxation, a great carelessness. You know that life is taking care of you, you know that the light is taking care of you. You no longer need to take care of anything other than your life as it is, you have nothing more to look for, you have nothing to find. You are fully available, installed at time zero or in the present moment, it is so obvious once again. Eliza. Good evening Bidi, good evening Jean-Luc, good evening Eliza. If we have achieved inner silence, how can we communicate it to others who are still in the noise? Bidi. I repeat, it is incommunicable. The ultimate transcendence of what has always been there cannot be communicated, because as soon as you communicate, even through an agape resonance, you deviate from who you are. It's not negative, it just means you can't communicate it. It is up to everyone to experience the sacrifice at all levels. It is an intimate, personal decision, which cannot be transmitted by anyone, unfortunately. You don't have the right to wake up dreamers, it's the nightmare that wakes you up, not the one who's awake. Eliza. My friends, stay away from me because I'm not into the TV media system, beliefs, religions. Bidi. It's normal, the intelligence of the light sorts out everything, and everything that is contrary to what you are can only move away. There is no point in opposing it, it is inevitable, and it's better this way. Brother. Every morning for years, when I wake up, I have seen my character reloading, in quotes, the sufferings, the memories, the heavinesses, and, despite observing them, in fact I continue to load some of them. I don't understand the meaning of this reloading which is being repeated despite the fact that I have been observing it for so long. Bidi. You have already taken a huge step, I would say. In the morning when you wake up, of course you find the character with his memories and his stories. But where you describe things to me is that you are placed in the observer and not in the character. Continue to observe this, accepting that you cannot do anything, and it will move away from you by thanksgiving, by the intelligence of the light. Above all, don't oppose yourself, observe what is there, don't try to interact, and little by little this process of awakening will simply be purified. Can I have some of my tea, please? Thank you very much. Eliza. So you have to leave the others in their noise, without worrying about it. Bidi. Yes, let the dreamers dream. They will wake up when their time is right, whether individual or collective. It is useless because you will come into opposition, contradiction, or even suffer from this duality that you generate yourselves. It is not because you live the real and the truth that you must impose it on anyone. Let others emerge from their slumber in their own way, as it was written, in the rhythm that was written. On the other hand, you can inform them that there is something other than what they live, than what they believe themselves to be, and that it is much older than all their habits, much older than all their beliefs or all their experiences, whatever they may be. Suggest it, but don't get into a debate or conflict. Eliza. Why do I keep dreaming when I sleep and I always remember my dreams? Bidi. The dream is nothing but a dream within the dream. The dream can indeed bring symbolic, initiatory, real predictions, or simply link to the concerns of the day before. The big difference is when you dream in your sleep you know you're dreaming, but when you start your day you don't know you're still dreaming, because the person has woken up. If you grasp this analogy perfectly, the dreamer, at night, knows that he is dreaming, remembers his dreams or not, and once you wake up in the morning, when you emerge from sleep, you continue to dream. Eliza. When I wake up from sleep I feel very good, but a few moments later the program starts. He says to me, "That's your name and you're here, and it's Tuesday and you have to do that," and then everything changes. Bidi. Obviously, we all know this privileged moment, many in any case recognize it, the moment when you open your eyes, you are well, you do not know who you are or where you are, there is simply a feeling of fullness which is there, and very quickly, you remember that you are married, that you are such and such an age, that you have such and such functions, etc., etc. Eliza. There you go. Bidi. The only time I would say true awareness of who you are is often there is in the morning when you wake up, before the cascade of memories and identifications return. Eliza. Exactly. Bidi. Remember that moment. If you manage to remember what is happening precisely, what makes that in the morning, before falling back into character, you are in this plenitude. Because indeed, as we explained in the question a few minutes ago, at some point, the program starts. The program is made of habits, of identifications. It goes through a cognitive slavery triggered by the reptilian brain over which you have no control. But nevertheless, many of you actually experience this when you wake up. Eliza. I can't stay there. I would like to make up for this moment. Bidi. You can't catch it. Eliza. As soon as I go to the bathroom, that's it. Bidi. But as soon as you see yourself in the mirror you know you're there. Laughs. But just remembering those moments should make you wonder. That is to say that the only time when the program is not activated, there are two in fact. It is the moment when you sleep soundly and the moment of waking up in the morning. I also said, during my lifetime, that you should try to remember the period before you reach 3-4 years, because at that time you have no idea or sense of being a person. If you manage to bring back memories of early childhood before the age of 3, you will find that it was the same state as in the morning when you woke up for some of you. Eliza. I notice that spontaneity, joy, the return to childhood is an accelerator of chaos. Bidi. Yes, because the life of appearances can no longer hold. The encounter with the real will put an end to your personal and collective world. I have said it dozens of times while being embodied, I repeat it, individually as well as collectively. The discovery of the real will put an end to all your pretensions, to all your beliefs and above all to your world. It cannot be otherwise. Everything you hold on to, whatever you do, will drift away from you, because what you are as the intelligence of the light wants you to be, in the nakedness, in the simplicity and in the evidence. There is no place in the truth to maintain lies, to maintain appearances. There is no possible compromise, you are whole or you are not. Remember this sentence which is so true, whatever you hold on to is holding on to you. And remember also that whatever happens to you in your story, whatever the event, you must accept that it is you and you alone who created it, even if it is linked to an external attack. Even if it is linked to the devil, it was only you who created it. Take on your own responsibility without any guilt, accept that fact too, and you will find peace. Eliza, it's the great silence. Eliza, so everything is wonderful since we will all be free soon. Bidi. Exactly. The absolute horror that you are preparing to cross brings you directly to the absolute and to bliss, because all your dreams, all your beliefs, all your certainties, all your acquisitions, will no longer represent anything. Eliza. Beings of light and the galactic speak to us of a new world for those who will ascend. Bidi. No one ascends. Eliza. Wait until I finish. Those who can ascend will go to another planet. Bidi. Well, let's see, there it goes, the little bike returns, as Omram would say. Bidi raises his voice. Why do you want to go anywhere else? You are here and now, stop dreaming. Be present and you will see what you will experience. Of course, there are going to be more and more crooks, the worse the events are going to be, who are going to want to sell you a better world, a new earth, to ascend where everyone is luminous. But it's, how would say cushy, it's complete bullshit. There is none of that. It would be time to shake your heart and wake up anyway. And stop shaking your head. Do you realize today, 10 years after my arrival, all these new arrivals who are embraced by channels, by beings of light on a new earth? It's all part of the Luciferian illusion, there's none of that. The earth is the starting point and the end point of the Alpha and the Omega. You are life in its totality, there is no elsewhere. Where do you want to save yourself? Eliza. It may be hard to take for newcomers. Bidi. Well, so much the better, the harder the shock, the more they will be free. Eliza. So all the celestial messages that are from Mary, Jesus or the Ascended Masters are false. Bidi. But the Ascended Masters said that 10 years ago, in 2010, 12 years ago. The Black Lodge was constituted in Shambhala by the Ascended Masters. They are swindlers who spoke from the soul and who never lived the truth. They locked themselves in a bubble which was named Shambhala, which has no reality and no longer exists, which was dissolved by the archangels on All Saints' Day 2010. Now it's up to you to see if you want to submit to an outside opinion, an outside story that is trying to be sold to you. Where do you want to live the real? The real is not in the ascent, nor in another planet, nor in another form. The real is here and now. Rather go read Eckhart Tolle, rather go read Bidi during his lifetime as I was, but stop shaking your head. You live from dreams within the dream. There never was anyone, you are the totality of what appears on the screen of your consciousness, devil as God. If my words offend you, cut the sound and the microphone, cut the link altogether, otherwise think a little. The only ones who are objective are certain races who are not predatory and who talk about the geophysical scenario of the Earth, after the 3 days or after the event, but I assure you the humans will do the work instead of the cosmos, in the same time. Face your fears that have nothing to do with who you are, but it's time to stop dreaming anyway. Eliza. Is it useful to do a job to clean us? Bidi. Absolutely not, except to make the person better, but you won't change the person. You are not that person. Of course, it is logical to heal, to want to be better in this body, it is perfectly logical and justified. But to pretend that you're going to ascend because you're going to release memories, engrams, implants or whatever is a complete scam. I did not say that the implants did not exist, nor the entities, but they belong to the dream. The real is without anyone, it is what you are. And I pity today all those who, for one reason or another, lead you into aberrant dreams because they will have to assume this at the time of the event. They don't set you free, they chain you up, understand that. Eliza. Thank you, finally loud and clear. Bidi. Thanks. Eliza. About Advaita Vedanta, is it the reality? It's always the same person asking. Bidi. So I will answer two things. The doctrine of Advaita Vedanta is real, it is supposed to lead you to unity, but ultimately, I will answer you that there is no more non-duality than duality, everything belongs to the dream. Of course, when you feel you need to progress, the encounter with non-duality allows you to establish the self, but the self is not more real than your character, it is an illusion, the ultimate illusion. I repeat, all you have to do is remember who you are. For this, do not leave room for any belief that is induced to you from the outside, whether it is a human being, a channel, an angel, an archangel. Bidi shouts very loudly, they are all liars. Only you are real. Hear it once and for all. Eliza. They know they're lying? Bidi. No, not even the poor ones. They're so caught up in their own dreams, but that's what they're all here for, to witness the event, and experience the event of the dream dissolving, here on this earth. I remind you that the earth, here, where you are, is the earth of the first dream and of the last dream. The seeding of the worlds of form took place on earth and unfolded from earth. Sister. What does facing your fears mean exactly? Bidi. I never talked about approving. Sister. Confront. Bidi. Have you heard this word? Eliza. Confront. Bidi. Face, look, and let yourself go. Acceptance is not approval. Accepting the unacceptable has nothing to do with being okay with it. It's recognizing that you can't do anything about it, it's profoundly different. That the person accepts and/or rejects the fear is useless. Fear is an invitation to look beyond the person who feels that fear and see that you are none of that. Approval would be like consent. Acceptance is not consent, it is access to the real. The acceptance of the unacceptable is the very heart of grace, the very heart of resilience, the very heart of the real. I think they must all be hungry. Eliza. We still have a quarter of an hour. Bidi. So let's go, let's continue. Eliza. I lost the thread. Eliza. The beings of light, oh no, I've already read that. Heavenly message from Mary. Bidi. Who are you talking to? Eliza. I was reading Where We Were. Eliza. Some advocate awakening, is it the same awakening as when you come out of a dream? Bidi. Absolutely not. The exit from the dream, the access to the real will never be an initiation and can never be conferred by another person, never. It is again lies, or I would say a fraudulent sale. Eliza. So the same person, she's the one who asked this question. So there will be no more humans, only light? Bidi. There won't even be light. It's back to square one. In the Eastern traditions, we call ourselves the Parabrahman, what in the Hebrew traditions is called Ein Sof Or, which is beyond the light. Find out. You have scientists today who describe this to you, who have experienced it, with radiological and clinical proof. They had no more brains, they came back and they remade a brain. They all describe the same thing to you. Eliza. I don't know why, but, at the moment, I'm saving bees or others from the unexpected. Bidi. It's a good job, you have to take care of yourself. There are activities that are more enjoyable than others. Saving bees is much nicer than pushing a nuclear button, right? Eliza. I wonder because remembering what I am, but there is only grace, that this memory is inaudible. Bidi. It will happen at the moment that you have written, that you do not know and that you cannot know. But just remember that the moment you have the information that all of creation is a myth, a scam, even if you deny it with all your might, you have heard it, and in the moment of white heaven, you will have no desire to return within a form even before experiencing the Parabrahman. Eliza. How to reconcile here and now with the fact of being in expectation of the event. Bidi. If you are in the here and now, there can be no expectation. You are either waiting or in the here and now, it cannot be otherwise, it is irreconcilable. The music accompanies it, it's good. Eliza. We still have 10 minutes. Bidi. Bidi. I am available. Brother. Bidi, I have a paradox that my character experiences, that I want to share. In fact, he spent almost the previous 30 years of his life in suffering, in the loss of balance, all sorts of things, and we will say for 2 years, everything is calming down. And what is paradoxical, it is that the more there is this awareness that we are going towards something which is the end, in quotation marks, of what you were saying, the more peaceful and light it is. I don't understand this paradox. Bidi. It's not a paradox, the closer the end comes, the more available you are, the more at peace you'll be. You will see it, we announced it to each other a long time ago. The more the chaos grows, the more you will be at peace. So, it is absolutely not a paradox. It is the chaos that is looming, the nightmare that is coming, the absolute, which puts you at peace. It is like that for many. The fears will move away from you, the dreams of ascension in I don't know which planet or which luminous earth will move away from you. You will laugh at yourselves, your last beliefs, your last projections, and you will be free. It is inevitable. Eliza. A sister who has already asked questions is coming back to us, her name here is Star of Venus, I think she must be new in all this. Her question, is the Earth a land of free will or not? Are we responsible for our thoughts? Bidi. None of your thoughts belong to you. The first part one didn't understand, the Earth is a what? Eliza. Is the Earth a land of free will or not? Are we responsible for our thoughts? If this is a land of free will? Bidi. But absolutely not, since the Earth in the history of the theatre scene is a prison planet. Eliza. But she mustn't know that. Bidi. Definitely. Eliza. And are we responsible for our thoughts? Bidi. No, you are responsible for recognizing yourself in these thoughts. But thoughts come to those who are able to observe. Thoughts are created in the ether, not in your brain. The brain is the antenna that captures them. This is how creative geniuses have ideas. All creators have been there, whether in art, whether in science, but none of these thoughts are yours alone. Eliza. Since we don't do anything, we don't do it. Eliza. Testimony. Infinite gratitude Bidi for your presence, sweeping away all that is of the order of my programming, the beliefs, and all that is illusion. My heart is light. Bidi. Thanks. Eliza. Star of Venus again. So I understood that I had to continue the teachings of Advaita Vedanta and that I give up the messages of the beings of light. Bidi. It's obvious. There are, explained in Advaita Vedanta, the foundations of understanding and experiencing the Absolute. At some point, one will also have to separate from Advaita Vedanta. As I said, there is no more duality than non-duality. Eliza. If I allow myself, I can tell you something. Bidi. Sure. Eliza. There is perhaps a character who will lead you directly to simple understanding, and it is Bidi in his name when he was alive. It is Nisargadatta. I don't know how to say it in French. Bidi. Nisargadatta. Eliza. Now there are a lot of questions all of a sudden, now that we're leaving. So then I understood that it was necessary, what I said. Karma having disappeared, will future incarnations, if they take place, be free of all karma? Laughs. Eliza. Be patient. Addressing Bidi. Bidi. You are so far from the real, you are so far into the dream, that there I give up answering. Eliza. Yes, so that's a brother or a sister. Karma. There is no more reincarnation. I believe that these are people who are a little bit, how do you say? Bidi. They are subject to archontic teachings. Eliza. There you go. Bidi. Karma was created by archons, so-called lords of karma. Karmic lipikas are just archons. You are not subject to anything except in your head. If you are here and now, really, all that is swept away. There is no more karma than memory, than future. Notice how very clever these angels, these channels, all these beings who communicate with intensity today are. They will all speak to you about tomorrow, about the ascension, about the new earth. None can speak to you about what the Absolute is since they do not live it. They are even unable to conceptualize it. They take you along in their wanderings, in their traumas. See it, free yourselves from all these beings whoever they are. You don't need anyone. Don't be subject to anything. There is already enough submission in this society, isn't there? Why do you want to add more at other levels? By habit. Eliza. I relived and accelerated all the events of my eventful life. It showed me that it was only a training Spartan to live the reunion today. Bidi. Yes, nothing happens by chance. The most traumatic, the most painful lived events, when you discover the real, you identify very easily that if there had not been these events, you would never have come out of the dream. And you find that you wrote that. Eliza. Because, hello everyone, a question. Cause now I feel my heart drowning again, the joy seems to be gone. Bidi. What is the question? Eliza. I don't know. Eliza. Gratitude Bidi, and we arrived on Earth at 8 o'clock, here, I mean it's 8 o'clock. Bidi. Ah. Eliza. Here on Earth. Bidi. So if it's 8 p.m. here on Earth, I'll tell you next time. Good awakening, good real, and above all be free from any teaching. It is no longer time to be taught about anything. It is no longer time to trust anyone except who you are. This is my last advice for today. You are self-reliant, you are freedom, you are truth, you are nothing of what you believe, nothing of what you see, nothing of what you project, and nothing of this, which comes from a hypothetical past. I said. Goodbye. Goodbye Bidi. Channeling by Jean-Luc Ayoun in French. Translated through Google Translate from original text at https://apotheose.live